Okay, look, I made this video for people who want to get into the trucking industry, but not only for people who want to go to school and get a CDL, but also for people who are entrepreneurs and want to start a business and grow, for people who want to get an authority or any of the administrative needs or want to learn about dispatching or something. I got a website that you can go to, and I'm leaving the link in the description. It's called True Vision Logistics, and I highly recommend you guys go there when you finish watching this video and either take some notes or leave a message to them, and I'm sure they can help you with any questions you have about starting up. So good luck, you guys, and have a great day. So today's video, hopefully we got some people who thinking about getting into trucking. That's who this video is for. I want to give y'all, some things you need to do on the way to getting into trucking, and the best ways to get into it is a couple of ways I say to actually get into truck driving. So I'm gonna shed some light on it, y'all. All right, so everybody, look, I've been driving for going on 3 years in a couple of days. Not the best driver ever. I like to think of myself as one of the smartest drivers ever, but it's up for debate. So look, if you're thinking about getting into trucking, first, it's a couple things you need to do before you even get into school. First of all, you want to make sure your driving background is clear, because if it's not, if you got tickets, speeding, seatbelt, running red lights, whatever, you might not be accepted into any schools, or you might mess around and get into a school and then they come and give you the bad news, like, we just got some info and you ain't gonna be able to finish. And they gonna escort you out of the building right then and there. Also, for you people who, might have a medical card or whatever, you wanna make sure you drug free. Some places they do urinalysis, other places they want hair follicles. Urinalysis can go from 2 weeks to 6 months back, depending on how much you smoke. You want to make sure your system is clean. A hair follicle test can track back from 6 months to a year. So you definitely want to think about that and look into it and ask questions to other drivers and people that been through a certain school, like what kind of drug test they do. Hopefully you drug free, because that's the way to be. I believe it's also some medicines that could pop up on a drug test. I'm not on any kind of medication, so I'm not sure which ones, but that's something you also want to be mindful of and ask questions about before you go put, a sample in a cup or whatever. So, like I say, as many truck driving schools or ways to get into truck driving schools. I know they have programs that you can get into, or you can just call a company and talk to a recruiter and ask what schools they go through. One of the best ways is just to go on Google and type in trucking schools in your area, so definitely want to look around and don't just take the first option. I know places like Roadmaster got a good reputation. When I was applying to go to Roadmasters, they told me they needed to do a credit check and wanted me to have a cosigner and all kind of foolishness or whatever. So I ended up going to JTech in Jacksonville, Florida. Like I say, you definitely want to talk to the recruiters at the schools that you look up. The recruiters, they might tell you a whole lot of good stuff. A lot of times it don't all be the truth. So just, write the pros and cons to each place you call and know that it might not go exactly how you thought it would. But at the same time, the trucking school is like 4 weeks, some less or more or less. It's up to the school and the area you in. You want to ask these people about like sponsorship. So a sponsorship is a company that will take you on after you finish truck driving school and get your CDL. Some schools have multiple companies, some have one company that they really work with. And what they do is once you go through school, you don't have to pay anything because these companies will take over the tuition for you if you work for them for a certain amount of time, whatever their contract is. Some is 10 months, like the one I went to, some a year, some 2 years. So that's something you also want to think about. And you want to ask about home time. How long will you be on the road, and then how long will you be home in between those times of being on the road? You know, you want to come home and spend time with your family or whatever. So both good things to ask before signing up for a truck driving. Oh yeah, before I forget, you also want to think about team driving and solo driving. So I like team driving and I don't like team driving. So pretty much when you go through school, you might meet some people in your school that stay in the same city as you. You might want to link up with them because once you finish school, you're going to do training with a trainer for about a month after that, most places. And then they're going to tell you, all right, go get a truck and find a team driver from wherever their terminal is. You'll go there and get your truck and you'll meet up with your team driver. They might give you a list of names, or if you already, talked it out with somebody that went to school with you or something like that, or know somebody that works at that company, y'all can arrange to be team drivers. But some companies actually do solo, where you can go out of training and go straight to solo. Now I recommend team driving because you're out there with somebody else who you can learn from them and they can learn from you, and you got somebody to talk to and help you kind of get through things. Y'all might have to call people and help both of y'all out at certain times. And when you team driving, the money just keeps rolling because they keep the truck running. When you're asleep, they're running the truck. When they're asleep, you running the truck. So it's always loads coming back to back. When you solo, it's less of a headache, dealing with somebody else in a truck that you barely know or you're not used to living with. But at the same time, you don't have that luxury of having somebody you can talk to or help you at moments when you fresh and brand new out there on the road, and it's gonna be things you still need to learn after trucking school. When I was in training, I remember my trainer told me, man, forget everything you learned in truck school, because now you on the road for real. So that's why the last video is called Trucking with Sharks, because you're not in school no more. We're gonna throw you out there with the sharks. This is a disclaimer. When you get out there on the road, do not forget everything you learned in school, literally, okay? That's just a saying he told me, because there's certain things we did in school that was just technical. You needed to know this stuff, so yeah, don't take it literal. I mentioned this also in another video. When you don't have much experience, you're not gonna get paid like a person with experience would. So you want to get at least 3 to 6 months to a year or 2 of experience before you really actually start making good money. Now, me personally, I was out of training for 3 months, and I was able to find another job with a team driver that I knew, and we rolled out like that. And I went from making 30 cents a mile to making 50 cents a mile, which was like about $700-800 to $1,000 more on my check at the end of it. So you also want to look up reviews online and see what people think about these schools. Like I say, they'll tell you things when you're talking to a recruiter trying to get into the school, and it might not be correct when you start school. They tell you we in school on Saturdays, and it might not be no school Saturday. It might tell you school is until 5 o'clock, and they stop at 3 o'clock. So just really read reviews and see what's going on and what people say that's good and bad about these places before you even go there. Some of these places will house you, give you somewhere to stay if you're from out of state or out of the city, or if you need some help or whatever. But If you live in that city, then you all good. You can drive your car and all that. But they do provide a shuttle bus and a hotel room if you need that. So that's how you get into trucking school. But that's not the only ways to get into trucking. If you don't want to get a CDL, you don't have to. You can lease a truck and join and partner with an authority. You can get your own authority, which is what you need to legally drive a commercial vehicle across state lines on highways. And it's other ways, I believe, like you can get into dispatching if you want to. It's other ways to get into the industry of logistics. So you want to check that out. Before you take any of these routes, you want to make sure you have some money saved up, because the money isn't going to start flowing fast like working a job, like just another type of job or whatever. Like you got to put time in to make money, and most of the time you have to have money saved up. You might be in school or whatever, like I say, low wages, and a lot of us got bills and expenses. So you want to make sure you saved up a little bit before you jump head first into any of this stuff. Leasing a truck or getting an authority, it all costs money. Getting in the truck driving school, like I say, you might have some bills or whatever that you need to be paid, and you want to think ahead on this stuff, because you don't know how it's going to go when you first start out. It might not move as quick as you thought it would, because you really don't know yet. But after you've been out here for a while, you pretty much know how it goes. So you guys, good luck out there. Get your experience. Keep trucking, stay on the road. Stay blessed, everybody.